guys, welcome to our spoiler review of Legendary by Stephanie Garber, the sequel to Caraval.
I liked it.
I really enjoyed this book.
I'm wearing a top hat. I think that, yeah.
That's how excited you are.
Like, Chelsea's like, we have to film a review for Legendary. I'm like, I own a top hat.
I was like, okay. I really enjoyed Caraval, and going into this book I was like, I don't know, is it going to be as good as Caraval? Is it going to be, like, is it going to kind of come below it? And I was like, no, this is equal, if not better.
It would be a hard book to follow up because when I was reading it, I was constantly looking for where the turn was going to be. I just was so paranoid throughout the entire book, and I got to the end and I'm like, wow, this is pretty straightforward.
Gotcha again!
So the thing is, in the previous book, Tella made a whole bunch of deals so that she and Scarlett can get away from their abusive father, and now her biggest collector has come back and is like, I can help you find your mother, but you need to give me Legend's name.
And also, she's kind of in debt to him from like getting her in touch or like with Legend before. Yeah. This is kind of like her all or nothing favor to do, is get him the name of Legend.
So this year at Caraval, the person who wins will meet Legend, and supposedly they will get a wish answered. So Tella thinks, man, if I win Caraval and I meet Legend, I can just be like, hey, what's your name?
Yeah. But yeah, so Tella quickly discovers that it's not as easy as it looks to just win Caraval.
Because this year it's not actually a game.
So there are a lot of new things kind of added to this book. You kind of get a sense of the world like very briefly in Caraval, but this time it's like, hey, oh yeah, we're in an empire and it is run by the Empress, and you know, she's super old, but she's got an heir and he's supposed to be like coming to the castle, so we're running Caraval like 2 weeks after the last one in honor of her birthday. And you're like, okay. Ella's also like, remember that deck of Destiny I had? And you're like,
what deck of Destiny? What is a deck of Destiny? Sounds like tarot cards.
Yeah, and she's like, oh yeah, it's super important to this whole plot. And you're like, oh.
Okay.
But you didn't say anything about it in the last book, and she's like, moving on.
So the thing, yeah, like as much as I liked the introduction of the deck of Destiny and the entire world building aspects that brought with like this line of divinities that are really kind of like mean and kind of like fucked up. Creepy. As much as I love that, it just felt really shoehorned in. Like once you get to it, you're fine. Like once you get past the introduction of it, you're good to run with it. But it's just like, kind of reminded me of like a rewrite of something, like what I think is gonna happen with the next Star Wars movie, where it's just like, oh, that happened, ha ha ha, know this.
Just pretend I mentioned this like last book, okay?
So like, she kind of wobbled on the jump, but she stuck the landing.
Exactly.
Is kind
that's exactly
the best way to describe it.
Yeah, like, so like not mad. Basically what the deck of Destiny is there's a whole bunch of different cards.
She has a card, and this specific card shows her stuff, like the future. So every decision she makes, she can see kind of like an outcome. She can see her mother suffering, and then she does a few things, and then the outcome on the card changes because she's somewhat changed her fate.
Yeah.
So she's basically organized her life in a way by looking into this card to decide what she does, and like uses it as a way to like correct her course.
Yeah. And she's seen other decks of Destiny, and none of them are as special as her deck of Destiny, so she's like, that's kind of weird. Well, Tella finds out that her deck of Destiny is like the deck of Destiny. All these characters that are like on these cards are actually like real entities that have been now trapped in these cards because, you know, they're gods, but they were kind of fucked up and they were just causing havoc. So people don't believe that they were real, but they were real.
It's so far in the past that it's kind of like,
it's just
a myth.
Yeah.
And so she only has the one card. She only has her Oracle card. So part of the thing is she has to find this deck during Caraval because it's been hidden away somewhere.
Yeah.
By her mother.
As Tella's getting ready for this Caraval, she has Dante, who's like super hot, tattooed, kind of moody. She's like really into him even though she doesn't want to be.
He sounds exactly like when you think of the name Dante.
Like personality right there.
Pretty like.
Yeah. And Tella doesn't want to just like fuck around with all these dudes like her sister thought she kind of does. Tella wants somebody who's gonna like be passionate and love her and die for her kind of deal.
But the thing is, and in the review we mentioned that Tella comes across as very edgelord. So this is where kind of the edgelord thing comes into play, where she's like, the first time I touched the deck of destiny, the first card I drew was like the, what's his face?
The Oracle? Or no, the Prince of Hearts.
The Prince of Hearts, and that means that I will never find true love. And I'm just like, what? She's just like, there's no point. Like, I like kissing boys, but I'm never gonna like kiss just one forever. And I'm just like, okay, sounds good. And she's just constantly like, why won't Dante leave me alone? I don't want him to. And I'm just like, pick one. She ends up running into the Prince of Hearts, and it's just like, I always knew I was his. The Prince of Hearts can kill someone with a kiss.
So she kisses him.
And she survives because he says he like holds the power back. He's like just kind of like slowly killing her over time. Like, look, I've kissed you, you're gonna die soon, so you might as well do what I say and maybe I'll let you live.
Yeah.
And so she's just like, I've always known that I was his. The only person who can survive his kiss is his soulmate. And I'm just like, well, I mean,
we're here.
Yeah, we're here. You're saying you're his. He kissed you when you're still alive. Can we?
So, yeah, we know you're his soulmate. Get it over it.
Come on, like, catch up.
And then so she eventually does like realize that, she's his soulmate or something, but they're both very blasé about
and
it.
They both don't like each other.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Because like it's just kind of the idea that soulmates may not actually like each other. Like for some reason they like would, like how in Sarah J. Maas, A Court of Thorns and Roses, it's kind of like, to make the ideal offspring who will have the best characteristics of both. I don't know why I'm doing this voice.
Because you sound exactly like Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah, that's what she sounds like. Just because they're your soulmate doesn't mean like...
Yeah, it's just a weird gray area of stuff that...
And like, he flip-flops, which really confused me. She first meets him and she thinks he's just some like snotty rich boy.
Because he's the heir, and he's like threatening to like murder her while she's just like stowing away in his carriage.
And then so it's revealed that he's actually the Prince of Hearts. His name is Jax, and blah 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 blah. But he's just like, I'm not a nice person, Tella. And I'm like,
Tell me more.
Tell me more of how you're so awful.
I totally believe you.
Like, I spent, like, the moment he's just like, I kill people, I killed my last fiance, and then 20 to 40 pages later, he's like, I didn't kill my last fiance.
And you're like, yeah, I know.
I think there's gonna be a good payoff with him. I think so.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so.
I don't know, I just kind of, my favorite moment with that was when, like, she realizes that he's not actually killing her because she's his soulmate, and she's like in his arms, I can't remember why, and she's like, do you love me? And he's like, no.
Basic plotline up to this point is Tella's participating in Caraval to find out what Legend's name is so she can give Legend's name to Jax, and then Jax will be able to free himself and his like other like fates, his like friend group, because she knows that if she frees him, then he's gonna help her find her mother, and man, she might be dooming the world, but like, she's gonna die anyway at this point because she kissed him at the party and she's really regretting that, and that's Dante's fault too.
Yeah, because she pissed off Dante, and Dante's like, well, okay, fine, I'll find you a room. She's the prince's fiance. And rumor gets around the palace, and the prince is like, who's this fiance I've never met? Guess I'll check this out. And so it's Jax.
Walking a little bit on the screwball comedy line.
Yeah, really. Honestly.
But her Caraval is pretty straightforward, partly because she can tell which are the actors. Like at one point she runs into this other group of people who are participating in Caraval, and she realizes that one of the people in that group is one of like the Caraval performers, and she's just like, hey, you guys, you guys like figuring this out? Like, how's your hunt going?
And they're like, oh my god, we're doing so great. And she's like,
So she kind of wanders the city, finds the clues, ends up at this really creepy church that worships the stars, because, we can't just have one weird like pantheon of like creepy ass gods. We got
Two.
The guy who she runs into there is like super creepy. And then she finds out that her mother stowed away the deck of destiny in their vault, and to pay them, she's given up her second-born child, which is her.
And they're like, we'll totally take your firstborn child. And her mother's like, no, you can have the second one.
And she's just like
mother!
that like sends her spinning. She's like, my mother never loved me.
Yeah.
She loved Scarlet, but never me.
You're like, oh, come on, there's gotta be a good reason. Calm down.
A good reason, yeah.
It's fine.
We'll find out she had a whole second family. Finds out that her mother was actually this like kind of like roguish thief figure called Paradise the Lost, which
Milton. Anyways, leaving that there.
Just not gonna touch that.
Hella has to like figure out how to make this deal because she has to give something important up to get the deck of destiny back to free her mother.
But Dante swoops in and he makes a deal and she's just like, what did you give them? And I was like, what I expected that he gave them Scarlet. Because like Scarlet's gone for like the majority of this book. She's off doing her own thing. And then Dante's just goes in and I'm like, okay, like, what does this asshole have? Mm-hmm. Like, he might be legend. He's probably legend. At this point in the game, I was like 95% certain that he was legend. He's not gonna like give up anything for himself. Like, why
would he do that?
Like, clearly he likes the one sister. He doesn't really care about the second sister. He's supposed to be a villain. Legend likes playing villains. But no, he like makes a deal that he's gonna do something in the future.
Yeah, you don't know what it is, but he's gonna have something big. So she gets the deck.
She calls Jax. Jax appears and she realizes that to break the curse, to let people out of the cards, there are two things you can do. You can find like, you can either free everyone in the deck or you can take a person's place. So she has this moment where she's just like, you know what? I don't want to break the world, but I'll go into the card instead of my mother. Like, I'll let my mother out. And so she, like, seals herself into the card, and Dante is just like, nope, not happening, done, can't deal with this, I'm in love with her. And so Dante, who is legend, releases all of the cards. Like, oh no.
That was a bad idea, buddy.
And then so Tella's just like, wait, what? I'm out? Like, what happened? And he's just like, I couldn't live without you. Goodbye. And leaves.
And Tella's just like, I don't know what I expected.
So the book ends with the Empress dies, but there's been rumors throughout the city that her missing heir has returned. And so the missing heir is presented, and it is in fact legend. And Tella's just like, oh man, that's so crazy. Like, I thought he was playing this one game with me, but in fact he was trying to get power over the city.
Yay! And there's like hints that, you know, like he's probably still into her.
Yeah.
And she's like, gotcha! One of my weird issues with this book is the fact that like Scarlet and Tella don't spend any time together. Like, Scarlet spent the entire thing of Caraval, like, obsessing over her sister. And now that she's back, she's like, yeah, sure, just have fun in Caraval. Like, you know, no big deal.
Maybe you don't want to, but you know what? You do you.
Yeah, right? Like, just go hog wild, no problem. Like, oh, and yeah, this guy is, like, from the deck of destiny, and his kiss is supposed to kill people, and yeah, I'm totally cool with you hanging out with him. And
it's kind of set up as Scarlet's lack of, like, presence in this book is a red herring. Like, oh, maybe she's in on it this time, and in truth, Scarlet's been the one pulling all the strings.
Yeah.
Just...
But it makes me wonder if in the next book we're going to figure out what Scarlet's doing and it's something important.
I really hope so, because in this book you also find out that the fiancé that shows up in Caraval in the first book is actually one of the actors. It's not actually the real fiancé, and so Scarlet has gone looking for him and has found him and is now starting to, like, correspond with the not actor guy.
And, like, Tella's like, this isn't gonna end well.
She's just like, I don't want my sister just kissing Julian. I want her to have more experiences. And the moment Scarlet's like, yeah, you know what, I want to give this guy the benefit of the doubt because, like,
I've never actually
talked to him. Maybe he's a cool guy. And Tella's like, no, she must kiss Julian. Okay, so this book is a lot of fun. Like, I really enjoyed it.
I really did too. I mean, like, I went through that so quickly, and you did too when you knew where it was.
Yeah, okay, so there's a story behind this. I bought this to go to Book Expo with, and so I read the first 125 pages on the plane to Book Expo. We went to Book Expo, we came home, I read 50 more pages, and then my book disappeared. And it was gone for like 2 months.
Yeah, a really long time.
I was about ready to be like, Chelsea, just give me yours.
And then you found it.
And then I found it in the most like random place. Did you read Legendary? Tell us about it in the comments below. What did you like? What did you not like? Did you prefer Caraval? Did you prefer Legendary? What do you think about the title for the last book? It's called Finale.
Oh wow. That's creativity much wow.
I don't know, it kind of fits it.
It does, and it's just so obvious. You're like, wait, what's it called again? Say it again.
Finale.
Finale.
So,
She could have called it Finale. Like Caraval, Finale.
That's probably how it's actually pronounced,
my
but it's
God.
like midnight and I am very tired.
Fair
And this top hat is very warm.
So, if you liked our video, subscribe, guys, and check out our other reviews. We're on here as often as not. So, thanks for watching, and we will see you guys later. Bye!